Hello guys, it's Joe here, and today we're going to be looking at the new Call of Duty 2014. Now, I'm well excited for this because, as you probably most of you know by now, the Call of Duty franchise is now being split between 3 companies instead of the 2 that it had before. Instead of it being Treyarch and Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer has now come in to join the circle of all of this. Now, some of you may not know the reason that Sledgehammer have come in to join in with the making of the Call of Duty franchise is because, as Treyarch and Infinity Ward said, they said having 3 years is a lot more time to work on their product, make it better, make it the best they can. So obviously they've brought in Sledgehammer with them. So instead of having 2 years of making their product what they usually have, they've now got 3. So we're just going to take a look at this trailer. As you can see, there's the new logo on screen right now, and we'll be playing the trailer through, and you're going to see it, and then we're going to break it down a little bit, just to take a look at it and see what Sledgehammer have got in store for us, and just to see if it's going to be anything like the past 2 Call of Duties. Now, I'm a big fan of Treyarch's Call of Duties, not too big on Infinity Ward, so don't hate me for that. It's mainly because of the zombies. I'm a very big zombies player, even though if I don't upload them on YouTube that much. I'm starting to upload more zombies, but unfortunately this video isn't about that, so I'm not going to get into any details like that. But let's just see if they can do as well as Treyarch and Infinity Ward have done on their franchises. So we'll play the video, we'll see what it's like, and then I'll roll it through. I've got a couple of screenshots of things in the video that stuck out to me. Some of you may have seen other YouTubers do it. I just wanted to bring this one out for my viewers, just to break it down so my viewers could see. And if any of you are new to my channel, then subscribe. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be covering this as soon as it comes out. So let's go over and watch the video. Let's go.
Democracy? Democracy. Democracy is not what these people need. Hell, it's not even what they want. America's been trying to install democracies in nations for a century, and it hasn't worked one time. These countries don't have the most basic building blocks to support a democracy. Little things like we ought to be tolerant of those who disagree with us. We ought to be tolerant of those who worship a different god than us. That a journalist ought to be able to disagree with the president. And you think that you can just march into these countries based on some fundamentalist religious principles, drop a few bombs, topple a dictator, and start a democracy? Give me a break. People don't want freedom. They want boundaries, rules, protection from invaders and from themselves. People need a leader who can give them both the support and the constraints to keep chaos at bay. You give them that, and they'll follow. And that's where I come in.
Right, okay guys, now we're going to go in and jump in with our first screenshot, which I have now on the screen for you. Now, we've seen this guy a few times through the trailer, obviously wearing different stuff, not the stuff that he's wearing now. As you can see, he's got like an exoskeleton sort of suit on with the words Atlas written on. Now, I reckon this company is going to have a big part in the game, whether we work for them, whether they supplying stuff for our main characters, but I think we're going to be working alongside this Atlas company. Now, the guy who we're seeing here, I'm assuming that he's going to be a main character, or if he's not a main character, one of the squad leaders, like, you know, the people that have the marker above their head that you follow pretty much everywhere. But hopefully, I'm hoping that Sledgehammer will get rid of that little bit of a design default, if I'd say so, because most people that play Call of Duty are quite intelligent people, and we don't need to be following around an NPC all the time, because we can pretty much work out where we're going from playing. Now, the next picture, as you were seeing, we've got another sort of person with one of those exoskeleton suits, not exactly like the one we saw a minute ago. This one looks a bit more high-tech and advanced, and he looks like he could do some damage if he hit you with that stuff that he's wearing. Not like you could really do much with him to hurt him, and he's got a really sick flip-down mask, as you saw in the trailer. Now, I think these exoskeleton suits are going to bring a really better gameplay to, obviously, the game and everything, and making it a lot more funner to play, because obviously you've got these high-tech advanced things, because I think this is set in like 2050, something like that, in the future. So it's going to be very high-tech stuff, very good equipment. So I think that's going to bring a lot of different gameplay to the table. Now, the next picture that you guys are seeing here is a street with loads of panicking people on, and loads of cars that have stopped. Now, there's a lot of yellow cars in this picture. I can probably point out quite a few, but that's probably got nothing to do with anything. Now, these guys are all like fleeing a futuristic-y like sort of place, with the cars they're looking a lot more high-tech than cars do today. And it looks pretty graphically good, actually, if this is the gameplay from the actual game. I'm thinking that this is going to be probably where we're fighting up. I think it's going to be like Modern Warfare, fighting in today, but fighting in the future. Now, we've got a flag in the top right corner. I don't know what flag that is. It's probably quite an obvious one to you guys watching it. You probably all know what it is, but this could be somewhere where we're fighting, or it could be someone we're fighting against, or something like that. Obviously, we're just here to have a look at it, and me to give my opinion of what I think we're looking at, and what this trailer is, trying to break it down and decipher it as best as I think, from a third-person point of view, so you guys can look in and watch. Now, the next picture on screen, we're seeing another one of these guys with these exoskeleton suits. Now, I think these are going to be pretty key in the game, and as you can see, he's jumping pretty far. He's jumping real high, he's jumping far, so this is going to give a lot more mobility to the game, a bit like the mobility you get in Titanfall, that Activision put in there. Obviously, the Titanfall stuff is, because I didn't do a thingy on the Titanfall trailer or anything like that, but I watched it a few times, and then in there you've got some high-tech stuff, and I've played the game a few times, so maybe Titanfall's given Activision these ideas to give Sledgehammer to put in. Now, this looks pretty like it's like the high-tech stuff that we're going to be getting in this is going to be pretty alley and pretty boss. Whether it's included in multiplayer is going to be another thing, but I hope it is, because if it is, then this is going to bring another style of gaming. Right, so the next picture you are seeing is someone who is like got a cloaking device on. Now, many games, you in the main single player, you get stuff like jetpacks and stuff like that, but this is going to be something interesting, getting invisibility. Now, this hasn't happened in any Call of Duty games, I don't think, so it's going to be very different bringing to the gameplay, and whether they bring it to the multiplayer, that is going to be very, very interesting if it comes to multiplayer, because, you know, with the multiplayer, it's going to add different advantages to the player that has it, whether it's going to be an unlockable, a certain level, or a kill streak that you can unlock. But it would be pretty amazing to see this come to multiplayer, because obviously you've got this new advanced high-tech invisibility shield. Now, in this next one, we're seeing another high-tech sort of device that is being used. This is just after the invisibility that we see. Now, this guy is shooting. Well, he's not actually shooting, he's scoping in, but he's using a device where he can see people. Obviously, we can see the far right person. He's obviously behind a wall, because, well, there's a wall there, and then it cuts off and some guy appears, and obviously the guy bottom left, he's behind a wall, and the guy in the middle. Now, I'm not too sure about the guy at the top left. whether he is behind a wall or not, but definitely it is showing us where people are without us even having to scope in with anything. So this is a device that is built in on the character, probably built into one of their exoskeleton suits, which you've been seeing in many of them. So this image that I've got here isn't too interesting, I don't think. Not much more to comment on other than that. So we'll move on to the next image, which is a guy with his thumb up at a helicopter. Now, these helicopters are obviously planes or helicopters that can take off vertically. That means they don't have to go along a runway, they have to go forward. They just literally lift off with these big propellers on the sides of them. Now, these look like they'd be a kill streak that you could probably earn in the main Call of Duty multiplayer, or when you're playing the main gameplay. You could probably be flying one of these or be dropping off out of one of these. So this is going to bring in definitely a bit more to the gameplay. Now, moving on, we've got another picture of another one of these exoskeleton suits, except this one looks proper buff, sort of like in Modern Warfare 3 when you got the Juggernaut. You looked pretty buff, you had that helmet on. Maybe this is an advanced, more upgraded version of that. Now, moving on, because we don't want this to be too long, we've got another guy who sort of, his arm transforms into like a machine gun, sort of Gatling gun sort of thing. So this is going to be like the same as the picture we just saw. I think this is like the, obviously, as I was saying, the more advanced high-tech Juggernaut. So you spawn with this as a kill streak, and then you get this awesome suit that can bring out Gatling guns and stuff like that. And in single player, it's probably something that you have to do as a mission as one of these people. So obviously, moving on, we're back on Golden Gate Bridge, as you saw with the guy who was jumping, which was quite interesting, actually. Obviously, we can see all this chaos and all this explosions happening on there. Maybe this is set in in the USA with all of that stuff. Now, hover bikes. What can I say? We've been wanting all this high tech stuff, and they've brought us one of the best things ever: hover bikes. Literally, you can do anything with a hover bike. You can get from place to place extremely fast. And in the single player, I can't wait to see how they've included this, how they've added this feature into the single player, because it's going to be interesting. One mission I probably think will have these in, and then with the multiplayer, these will probably be a kill streak for definite, where you can run around on a hover bike, obviously shooting off of it, which is going to be pretty interesting to see. Now, down here on the next picture, we have a guy who, just before, this picture is probably taken a bit late, but before this, the thing that he's standing behind, he put up himself, and it looked like it was just a piece of paper that he was putting up between two little posts, and all of a sudden the door opens, and this thing is stopping bullets. This thing is just invincible. Nothing is getting through that. Nothing is going to hit him. He is safe. He is literally, as I like to call, head glitching, where you can just see his head. But nothing is getting through that. Nothing is going to hit him. Now, if you can get these in multiplayer, then you are done. You can just put these across a door, camp in that door, and then shoot out. Unless you're not a camper, and then you can just run around with it and just, waste it. Obviously, he's standing there. It's a shame that they haven't added these sort of stuff onto the exoskeleton suits. Well, we don't know yet, but I'm guessing they haven't, because that would just make you too overpowered for the game, because obviously you want to have a certain amount of realism to it. But this is definitely a good feature that Sledgehammer have him put into it. Now, this next one here, this guy looks pretty badass, I'd say. He looks, even if he is the bad guy, you would want to be on this guy's side. You wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him. He looks like he is going to be a main part in this. And he's narrating the whole thing. He is the one who is speaking it. He is the one who is saying it. He is the one who is actually leading the whole of this trailer. Literally, without him, there wouldn't be a trailer. So, that's definitely interesting. Now, moving on, we've got a new look at the technology of the vehicles that we're going to be getting. Now, this has, like, 4 wheels that are stretching out, which have their own independent, like, sort of suspensions, and it looks like it could handle any terrain, which looks pretty good for going over anything. Like if you're in a city sort of map, then you could go over cars and stuff like that. It looks like you wouldn't want to be standing in front of this. This thing looks pretty weaponed out. It looks like it's got weapons everywhere. It's got the machine gun, as you can see, straight off there. So it looks pretty bad. Not bad as in bad, but bad as in you'd be scared of it bad. If you can get it in multiplayer again, I think you'd be getting it as a kill streak. But I think you could probably get in one of these in the single player, just to have a drive around and shoot people. Now, last but not definitely least of all the pictures, we've got another one with a guy in one of these exoskeleton suits jumping, and then on the left hand side we've got another guy wearing these Atlas. As you can see on his helmet, it says Atlas, so this is where obviously the technology is all coming from. It looks pretty pretty badass, but when you're looking at the guy jumping, it says Atlas on his chest. Now, we pointed him out at the beginning. He is obviously going to be one of the main characters, or one of the section leaders, as we said at the beginning, because he's coming up in this a lot. So it looks like these two players here, because we've seen these two twice. If you remember the black guy from I think it was the second picture that we saw. Obviously the first one was the guy in the helicopter. Yeah, it was the second one that we saw, and then obviously this guy who was jumping again, we saw him jumping in another picture with one of these exoskeleton suits on. So now coming to the very last picture, this is going to be obviously the quote for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare: power changes everything. Now we need to take this away with us, because this was mentioned by the narrator in it. So it'd be interesting to see how this fits in with everything, whether there's a higher person to him like being told what to do, or if you're even being told what to do by a higher person up. Power changes everything, so we need to remember that. So obviously going back to the main logo screen, this is the main logo screen of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now if there's anything you'd like to add, anything I've missed out on any of this, just please comment down below. Tell me, say if there's a part of the trailer you think I should have mentioned, put it down below. People will see the comments, people will be able to say, well, maybe this is what this means, and then other people will be able to decipher that, and it will keep going on. Obviously this is just my viewpoint on all the stuff in the pictures. Please don't hate on me if you believe it to be something different compared to what I've said, because obviously this is how I'm deciphering it, this is how I see it being, this is how I imagine this game to come out. Now I'm really looking forward to this. Obviously there will be gameplay on this on my channel, but unfortunately it won't be straight away gameplay, because as we always know, Call of Duty always, or in the past has always come out on Xbox 360, or in this case Xbox One first, and PC and PS3 and PS4 always after that, about a month after. So obviously we won't be getting gameplay straight away unless I can get it for the Xbox, because I do have an Xbox but I have no means to record, so it'd mean probably hooking my Xbox up to my computer somehow, or buying a HD PVR to record it. But if that's what's going to happen, guys, I will do that to get you guys the first look at the content. So hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you've all enjoyed watching my breakdown of the trailer of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and all I can say is I can't wait. So obviously guys, I'm as much excited for this as you are. So thanks for watching, and I'm trying to get it so it stays at about 14 minutes, so I'm waiting for the timer just to get there. So thanks for watching guys, and as always, adios.